Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa rasulillah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the second part of the whole misyar thing, second wife, third wife. Religion is not only about second wife. I don't know, everyone keeps talking about second wife, second wife. There's third wife, fourth wife. But this is a video by Ustaz Muhammad Tim Humble, and I do recommend everyone to watch this video. I've said many times in my videos that if a man decides to take a second wife, he needs to be ready for the consequences. He needs to understand why. Because so many men, they get married to a second wife, and as soon as the pressure comes in, boom, they divorce the second wife. I've said it many times in my courses. One of the first things that I talk about when brothers talk about polygyny, I said, all right, man, but are you ready? Are you ready to lose your first family? It's one of the things I say to many people. Are you ready to lose your first family or not? If you're ready and you can stand your ground, then if you're ready for what's going to come, Bismillah, bro. You can do it. It's Allah's rule. He's given to you. All right? A man can marry 2 or 3. Here, many ulama have talked about this. This is the issue is not debatable here. But a man needs to think, man. All right? You got to keep in mind the circumstances, the issues. You got to keep in mind. So, Ustaz Muhammad, he gives a very, very well-rounded. Let's listen here to part of it, inshallah. And I do recommend that you guys watch the whole thing, okay, from Madrasatul Omariya. And he brings out some really, really good arguments. Let me bring the Bismillah. Here we go. And he brings some really, really good arguments on this. All right, let's listen.
Now is that when husband and wife divorce, there are often serious and severe repercussions upon the children and the wider family. And there can be really, really serious things happen. And a lot of the things that used to be there where divorced women would find it relatively.
I would say that today is a little bit even better. While divorced women back in the days would have systems like usually it would be the tribe and the father would have to take care of once she goes and take care of the children. So there was that protection. But today they have social welfare. Right? This is how they've done it. And that's why a lot of women do opt out for divorce because there's this option where they just like, well, someone will take care of me. But by the way, a father, even if a woman is divorced, the father of that woman is still, it's his responsibility to take care of that woman. So this whole thing that women are just going to be on the street doing nothing, that's not true. Now it comes to the new Muslims. What about new Muslims who have no one? Well, then the imam, the masjid, the community, it's upon them to take care of. It's not only like they change the carpet of the masjid and just leave the prayer, or they put a new chandelier. This is the problem with us as a community, is that we're not taking care of these systems that were in place by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect, or men or women. Protect men from women taking their wealth unjustly if he has to divide. For example, there's a brother with, many, by the way, brothers have to be very specific here, because a lot of now people are saying, oh, you're using from your counseling, your experience. I've never ever used details of anyone in detail to say, okay, this person did this. It's like a doctor saying, hey, a patient came to me and they have a heart disease. Like, I'm telling you about what's happening, and I will never speak about unless things are an actual they're basically an actual pattern, that it's not one person. By the way, there's this guy who lives in the UK and he's 30 and he's Bangladeshi, okay, I said it, and he kind of lives in East London around this masjid, and his wife did this and that, and he did that. But no, we always very clearly, okay, do not. We're very, very important. This aman is very important. But there's the guy, the wife cheats on him, does all kinds of weird things, right? And then puts on for divorce, okay, and leaves. I mean, the guy has to. Oh, sorry, he divorces her. Of course, he has to divorce her, bro. Okay, and she, in one case, the woman was threatening that she's gonna lie to the judge, and she's gonna basically say that he did this, if he divorces her. Bro, you cheated on him. You cannot force him to keep you. So there was a system that protected men and women. Again, we're very unilateral when we're talking about like divorce, right? It's always from a woman's perspective. Now, why that might be is because naturally men incline towards protecting women and having empathy for the women. Women naturally have been always weak. Funny enough, in this contradiction of today's society, women keep saying that they're so strong, they're boss baby, they don't need a man. Yet when it comes to divorce, like, but I'm a woman. And all the men, they jump and, yeah, you're a woman. We have to protect you. And we have to do this and that. Where's your father? I don't have a father. Okay, where's your brother? I don't have a brother. Where's your uncle? I don't have a... Okay, where's the imam of the community, the masjid? Good. Oh, he's not. There's so many questions that can be asked. It's not black and white. Bottom line is, it's not all about women. Men also get hurt in divorce, especially in today's world. But the Sharia came to protect his rights. If he needs to divorce, he needs to divorce. She cannot compel him to stay with her because she's going to threaten him with some sort of a lie that she's going to put in public or in the court about him. Same thing, man. If he's doing something to her, she's not to be kept just because, oh, this is not a reason to divorce. No, it is a reason. If a man cheats on a woman, for example, I have clients where the man cheats on the woman, and I tell the sister, look, you need to leave. He's been doing this kind of behavior over and over again. This is disgusting, and you need to leave. No, but what is this really a good? Of course, it's a good reason. Okay, of course it's a good reason. He's cheating on you. He's gonna give you some AIDS or something. Not just that, but he's betraying you and cheating on you, right? And he's a coward because Allah has given him. At least the guys who make misyar, bro. At least they're trying to make it halal. Allah has given him the option to marry 4 wives, and he decides to cheat on you. A'udhu billah. So, indeed, things need to be considered very carefully, though, because yes, there will be a lot of issues. But let's listen.
Easy to remarry, and children's rights would be protected, and so on. Those things have often disappeared in many situations in the...
I don't agree with this part. I think they're even more today than ever. Because the society, the community, the imams, the law, the police, the social welfare, everything sides with the woman in general. So I don't agree with this, to be honest. Okay, and also keep in mind this double standard, right? It's like, oh, the poor women. But the poor women themselves are saying, no, we are the strong ones. We are this, we are that, I even forgot that my mic is not even here. Okay, so yeah, in a sense, this part I don't agree with.
modern time that we are in. And therefore, it is important for a man to think about that before he decides that he wants to marry again. Marrying again is something permissible in Islam.
Clear. Okay, it's very important to understand. But yeah, the man should think. And again, I'm repeating it. I usually say, guy, are you ready to lose your first family? Guy, are you ready to stand the heat that comes from your first family if you marry again and not divorce the second one just because the first one's putting pressure on you?
It's not haram. And it may be obligatory for a man if he fears for his religion and he fears that he will not be able to stay within the limits set by Allah. That could be a situation. But he does have to think about the consequences. Now, there is one other situation that I wanted to mention.
100%. Okay, he needs to think about the consequences. That's very important. I want you guys to listen to the whole thing. He talks about the contract, the marriage contract, the fiqh opinions, and so on. Okay, it's important for you to understand the whole issue. It's not black and white again, guys. Right? Remember, it might be obligatory upon him to marry a second wife if he is in a position where he might be falling into haram. It's not enough for the sister to be like, if you cannot control his pants, he's not a man. You don't know anything about men. Ustaz himself is saying it might be obligatory. How many mashaykhs have said? Because again, a lot of people, they want to deny the nature of a man. And like they want to deny the nature of a woman and how women really are. But guys lie. They're like, no, we're not like that. It's okay. I'm a good man. I can control myself. And he's doing all kinds of stuff. Men are very sexual. They're much more sexual than women when it comes to like the weakness of control, for example. A woman might be able to control herself much, much better. A man, this is really hard. Now, is that an excuse? This, that? No, of course. He has to fear Allah. He has to do this. He has to do that. But bottom line is you need to understand the fitrah of man. Stop lying about how men are. Men are, yes, quite sexual. And whether women like it or not, I mean, they don't like it in the public, but they like it in the private, obviously, when they get married. But it's funny that you have all these contradictions. SubhanAllah, when we talk about this subject, no one's really about applicability, about reality, about the real fiqh. Right? So but to leave it, just to summarize it, okay, it depends on the situation. And again, for a man to commit zina, man, it's not acceptable. This is a big sin. Bro, you have the ability. Allah has given you so many options. At least if you, do misyar or whatever, at least we can have respect for you that you wanted to at least obey Allah and to stay within the realms of halal. But so many men have one wife. They're so wow. They're even gonna be online, be like, "Hey guys, yes, we should only. I like monogamy. I've been fantasizing about monogamy since I was a little boy, right?" And they themselves are falling to so many sins, but because they're hidden and because they're, lying and they're cheating and hiding, they think it's okay. In the face of everyone, he's monogamous, but in reality, he's not. In reality, he's not. And what do you think? Pornography is just virtual polygyny. It's just virtual polygyny. Yani comorbidity, yani addiction is another thing. Other issues, trauma, this, sexual problems, all these come in it. But one of them is, yes, virtual polygyny. And men are polygynous by nature. And no amount of condemnation, and no amount of shaming is ever going to change a man. Some men try to change, but God, they'll lie. But no condemnation is going to change and rewire a man's brain. It's very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. So my advice is that we have these real systems where we start actually submitting to the laws of Allah, of polygyny, of men marrying more than one wife, of teaching men of how to do this, how to do that, sisters how to manage things, like the wives of Prophet did, like those Habiyat did for so many times. And not to make the argument just because we live in different times now that all things are more difficult. True, that is also true. However, keep in mind that Islam did not come for the 7th century or Arabia. It came for, it's timeless for everyone till the end of time, till the end of when cars will be flying and all kinds of will be teleporting ourselves and God knows what. Islam will still be applicable. Polygyny will still be applicable. All these things will still be applicable. Let me know what you think in the comments. Assalamu alaikum, and do watch the whole video because he gives a very good perspective on everything.